Hello, everybody, and welcome. Chris Miranda here to keep you informed. As always, I'm introducing something about health to bring to you. Today, I have a very special guest. It brings me pleasure because today I actually have Mr. Chef, I should say, Chef Joey Paulino. Joey actually has a very interesting repertoire. Joey was actually on season 3 of Top Chef. He was a competitor, and since then he's been around. And actually, Joey actually celebrated his 20th year of being in the field of a chef. So congratulations.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay. Today we're actually here to talk about a few things as far as with prepping and food work, takeout versus prep work of preparing your own meals, as well as foods to avoid. Okay, so let me talk. Let me talk a little bit about Joey here, though, in case anybody who does not know who Joey is. Joey's actually born and raised in Long Island, New York. He went to Institute of Culinary Education,
Yes.
graduated from there, and then since then he's been all over New York City. And his biggest one was actually working with Willie D himself, right? The stakeout guy from
Willie Deagle. Yep.
yeah, and he was actually the executive chef of his restaurants in New York City, Uncle Jack's Steakhouse. It was just a great, great thing. And you're doing lots of things now, right? You got a lot of projects coming out.
We have a lot of projects coming up. We're going to, since I left Uncle Jack's, I've ventured out and we're going to be opening up a kosher steakhouse down on Wall Street called the Wall Street Grill. It's something new to myself going into the kosher field, but it's going to push me in other directions, more healthier directions, more food-driven items. So we're very excited. Hopefully we're open for the spring of 2018.
That's right, Chef Joey. Hopefully in the spring. Now, today we're actually going to be talking about a few things, and the number one thing I actually want to talk about, because I get this a lot from patients, and I always try to recommend healthy ways of eating and alternative ways of actually products. But the biggest one I actually want to talk about today is when preparing what to use. This I use a lot of on prepping for my own food. It's coconut oil. Okay, as you can see, there it is. Coconut oil is actually a very, very good thing. They did a lot of research on it, and actually how it's the research they're trying to find out now about it is how to actually slow down the process of Alzheimer's, dementia with coconut oil. So, Joey, you use this on a regular basis, don't you?
Yes, so when I'm at home cooking for the family, back in the day, they used to fry chicken cutlets in a half-inch of oil, frying the meatballs, everything's fried. So we tend to try and use the coconut oil in a very minute manner, very light. A tablespoon of coconut oil is probably 110 calories compared to extra virgin olive oil is probably close to 125, and you could go up to scale.
What?
Calories add up really quick if you're not watching how much you do use. That's where we get into the portion control. Using coconut oil versus extra virgin, into grapeseed, so on and so forth. But this is a great alternative. Less calories. You don't have to use as much. It goes 1 tablespoon goes a long way. Wow. Especially for a salad dressing. This with some red wine vinegar, balsamic vinegar, goes a very long way.
You know what?
And it's mild in flavor too.
I actually want to talk to you about that too, as far as with using, having salads, eating salads, dressings, and all these things. You just mentioned before, as far as with balsamic vinegar, anything else you can actually mix with the two?
You could add mustard to the vinaigrette to go with it, okay? But also it has to be measured. We're looking at calorie control, nutrients, everything. Some mustards are high in sodium, high salt content. That's why sometimes when you go get takeout and you get a pre-made dressing from certain chain restaurants, after you have you think you ate healthy, next thing you know, you're very thirsty because the vinaigrette or the dressing, however they prepare it, is very high in sodium.
And there we go. Okay, so now you can actually make the connection as far as the two. Now we're leading into the other thing. Actually, there's something else I wanted to ask before we go into the next one. What do you use alternatively, or what do you like to cook with? We were going back and forth as far as with this, and what you like to actually use, and we wanted to segue into this as far as just a few products that are good to use for yourself, your family, even company. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, the coconut oil is a great change for people. It's healthy, okay? But you can get into other ingredients like quinoa, couscous, bulgur wheat, farro. All these are healthy grains for you. A lot of people, the avocado, it's high in fat, but the avocado has good fat.
Okay, let's just touch that real quick. What kind of fat we're talking about here?
You got me on that one. You're going to cut this one out.
Okay, well, in case anybody doesn't know, those are high density lipids, and they're complex, and they actually have a way of breaking certain things down a lot faster than the LDLs, which is the low density lipids, which your body actually will retain and hold on to. The high density lipids, your body wants to burn them quickly, okay? So actually, let's talk about this too, because you just talked about it. Let's talk about it. The prepping and actually cooking your own meals versus takeout. Okay?
Well, with prepping your own meals, you control what you're going to intake.
Okay.
So say, you sit down, you do your grocery list and say, okay, well, Tuesday night we're going to have grilled chicken with X amount of vegetables with this type of potato and salad. Okay? You can control how much salt or no salt you want to put, what type of seasoning, okay? You could steam your vegetables, you could blanch your vegetables. Where you're getting, how can you say it? You're getting as much nutrient out of the product instead of taking it and ordering Chinese food where they're sauteing it in 2 cups of sesame oil and peanut oil with all their sauces. Most of their sauces contain a high amount of sugar, okay? So anytime you eat certain types of food, like I said before with the salad dressing, anytime you go out to eat, a lot of food is very high in sugar and high in salt. So that's why when you come home, you're always thirsty. Okay? So I'm saying if I'm going to prepare grilled chicken, okay, I can marinate it in some of the coconut oil, put a little seasoning on it. But when I go to the store to purchase a seasoning to marinate my food in, I'm looking at 2 things, calories and sodium. And also the fat content.
Okay. Now, speaking of which, we're just both talking about this, and when people actually have takeout, what's going on? Where are they? What are they doing? They're on the go. So are they sitting down eating a meal? Are they around people? They're around company or any of these things? No. You're usually going and going and going, and you're just eating something, and you're not really actually savoring it. You're not really taking it in. Your brain isn't really processing what you're actually doing at that particular moment in time. So, and actually, they did a study on this too, where when people are like that and people are actually doing that, people end up eating more, are more hungry, and they actually end up eating more. Again, we're back to portion control because they just can't remember when they actually sit down and was their intention there to actually eat. Okay, so it's a big thing as far as with that. And the other thing I actually want to touch upon you is, excuse me, is as far as he said something actually. You said something actually very, very interesting, and I wanted to point this out because I thought it was so cool because it's like tricks of the trades, So I actually want to share it with you guys. Joey explains that Chef Joey actually explains he's been cut, along his ways of being being in his field and whatnot, and being at work, and accidents happen when you're mostly slow and your intention is not there, is focusing on work. Now, let's say you get a cut. What is the best thing to actually do?
Everybody has their own remedy, but about 2 years ago, I cut myself at a friend's restaurant, and I cut myself pretty bad. So I was like, this might be worthy of going to the hospital for stitches.
Okay.
So I go over to the sink, we got to wash it off, and I'm like, I might have to go. So one of the food runners came over. He's like, Joey, let me see. He's like, oh, it's okay. come here. So he takes my hand, he washes my hand, and he says, okay, now open your cut. And he pours peroxide inside.
Right.
Clean it all up, dry it
Okay.
up. And then he grabs a glove and he asks somebody for sugar. I said, what's this guy doing? He turns around, he covers my hand in sugar. Covers it. So now he's packing it in.
Okay.
And you could actually see it's starting to form like a scab almost.
Right.
Like the blood, it looks like the blood starts to clot. Like it stops, the sugar stops the bleeding. Like it holds it together. He puts a glove on. He said, keep the glove on, let it sit, but don't touch it. He's like, wait 2-3 hours. So we wait 2-3 hours. We take the glove off. We wipe it off.
Yeah.
We don't. He says, don't rinse it. Just wipe it off. Okay. Just clean around it, but don't get it wet. Wait till the morning, and then clean it. And by the time I got to the morning, I woke up. I cleaned it off, and it was already a scab starting to grow off of sugar.
Isn't that amazing? So go search this, okay? Go on the search engines, check that out, see if it's actually true, because it's a good thing to actually have. If you don't have anything else, sugar's always around. You got something to protect yourself or something to work with, okay? Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today, and I missed this. I'm gonna miss this so much. Oh God! If you guys get a chance, check out Chef Joey Paulino on Instagram at
Chef Joseph Paulino.
There you go. Okay. Also, if you can run off the top of your head, what are some sites that are actually good to check out as far as recipes? Easy, simple. Look, nobody's a professional chef. Okay, we get that. We understand that. Okay, but if you're looking for alternatives, you're tired of the same bland thing, and you're just looking for a little bit of flavor, a little bit of something that has a little bit of alternative to it. Where they can go?
The best thing that I normally look at, I eat with my eyes. 99% of people eat with their eyes.
Okay.
Especially when you go out to dinner, you see a plate, you're like, wow. Go on Pinterest, and you click. It sounds horrible. Okay, you go into Pinterest and you say
Okay.
healthy this, or you could type in coconut oil, or you could type in bulgur wheat. You could type in farro. You could type in all these different types of cool things in the food that are healthy.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, all these pictures come flying. And then you could click the picture. And I would say about 75% of the time, there's a link connected to the picture. And then there's an article to go with the picture. And recipes and everything that's right there.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. That is something I did not know. That is something I would never think of. And you heard it here, folks. So if you guys ever are interested in learning something new, Pinterest. Okay. Thank you very much, Chef Joey.
Thank you,
appreciate
Chris.
it.
Appreciate it.
And until next time, I will see you. And be well.